Everybody's caught up in chasing and trying to attain and build. But if you stop and you pause and you see the beauty in a system that's already in place for us, and we work with that system, it opens you up to something totally different.
We're Keisha and Warren Cameron.
Hello.
I'm Micole Hasan. I'm co-owner, second half of Bread and Butter Farms.
And then my name is Musa Hasan, co-owner as well.
For us, it's been about 6 years, going into 7.
Okay.
Full-time, 2 years.
Okay, and I think we've been here on the property for 8, almost 9 years, but we didn't officially become farmers until about 5 years ago. I try to steer away from the narrative of being an accidental farmer, but we were accidental farmers, so there's no real clever way of putting it differently. At the time, I was chasing this idea of academic success. My family was a deep Black church tradition, academic, first to go to college, and all these things that were supposed to define success.
Yeah, we did that. Both of us. Yeah, we did. Same role,
what
same
you're
path.
supposed to do. And I wasn't terrible at it, but it always felt like a square peg in a round hole. I was doing intercultural training, and I found that every time I stood in a room full of people and talked about all of these principles around intercultural communications and cooperation and community building and what have you, they were there because they were required to be, and their eyes would glaze over, but they would brighten up when I talked about it. We're on this homestead, and we're trying to learn how to grow food, and we've got these animals, and my goats keep escaping, and all of a sudden, human connection.
Yeah.
And the way that we relate to food and the stories, that was where it started to flow.
I've always grown since I was 4, 5 years old, since I can understand seed goes in the ground and it comes up when you take care of it. I was a kid saving apple seeds, whatever I can grow, I always grew. So returning to it just felt right. I was in corporate as well on the research side. And I went there thinking, okay, I'm super, I'm educated. I've done what I was supposed to do. My parents paid all this money for me to get these degrees and I'm good to go now, only to be uncomfortable, only to be in a space where you felt like you're still kind of not good enough, no matter how much you know. And
moving target.
Yeah, so that I would come home from work and work outside. And that was like, oh, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah. It was therapeutic for me, not only to be connected to the soil, but it also helped me heal from a lot of the internalized stuff and the microaggressions and just the constant othering that I was facing in those spaces. So this was this place where I had belonging. The way that, I guess, our society and race and things just structurally informs how we move and navigate. There's definitely levels to how oppression works, but what I found that was so hard was being rendered invisible. Just not being seen and excluded from, building connections. And it was almost like I was constantly having things being extracted from me, but nothing poured back in. And I used to take pride in that, because that naivete of feeling like, well, the more, especially as Black women, the more I can pour out to others, then that's some sort of credit to me. Whereas really, that's not the nature of any relationship. Nature doesn't work like that. It's a reciprocal cycle. So I had to stop and realize that it was like this toxic environment that was being reinforced, and that I was complicit.
There is nothing like being outside in the soil, cultivating, growing. There's a part of me that feels like there's a void when that's missing.
I always tell people I've worked in nonprofit, I've worked in corporate, I've worked retail. This is by far the hardest thing I've ever done and the most rewarding and filling thing. Just being connected to the land, and it's helped me grow spiritually, it's helped me mature, it's helped get me through a lot of different, So, and then you want to be able to share that. So for me, farming isn't, I struggle because farming doesn't feel transactional. And a lot of times we have such a capitalist driven model for what a successful farmer is supposed to look like. And I'm like, oh, but you don't understand. This bed used to have this with this seed and I made this one potato. Or grew this, like as if I did it. You know, I'm not one of those get in the garden and it's just all peace and Shangri-La. That's not me. There's oftentimes really inappropriate language. Things that I'm not, but knowing that the earth and the soil can hold that. Oh, it's fine. Like, that's what I'm doing. Because I am of the earth, so it already knows what's in me, so it can hold that. And it was a place to be able to release, and then still be able to take what was dying and dead and bring that life back.
Exactly.
That's really deep.
No, you.
Fantastic.
Farming is life. That's what we always say. Farming is life, and it gives me life, and it gave me my life back.